man. And I'm glad I'm not a pastor, I'm an elder. And so I'm not trying to raise money for myself by preaching this message. Are you listening to me today? So the Bible says a very powerful word there. Christ was angry this time. Okay, humanly speaking. Yes, ma'am.
Verse 9.
Verse 9 to 12.
I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds.
Whoa.
For every beast of the forest is mine,
Oh.
and the cattle upon 1,000 hills.
Whoa.
I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine.
Lord have mercy.
If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof.
Now listen to this. I think, in my imagination, I'm sure Christ is facing the other way, and he's saying, you, best be careful now. I will not come and borrow things and ask for things from your crop. I mean, surely who do you think I am that I should come and beg from you? Actually, tell you what, here's a reality check. The world and everything in it is mine. Actually, tell you what, even the cattle on 1,000 hills belong to me. In fact, if I were hungry, I would not even tell you. What would you do about it if you heard that the Lord was hungry? What would you cook?
Wow.
What, chunks? He doesn't eat chunks. Are you listening to me today? Now the Bible here, the Lord here is settling scores. He's saying, wait a minute, brother, wait a minute, sister. When you see an offering plate and you don't understand it, rather ask and understand. Rather ask the question why than go off and say, hey, it's too burdensome. We've got children back home. We're supporting extended family. Wait a minute here. Who's begging who? And that's why Christ said to that woman, two things, lady. Number one, you don't know who's talking to you. Number two, you don't even know the blessing that I have for you. If you did, you would have asked for your water yourself. In fact, I would have given you water where you would not thirst no more, lady. Let's get our manners together here. So the Lord is coming with some very serious talk because he understands our thinking. In that we think we're helping God. You find somebody saying, I'm not taking my tithe to this church because I have a problem with the pastor. I'm going to take my tithe to the main church. I'm going to take my tithe to Africa. Whose tithe? Question mark in my land. Question mark there. Whose tithe are you talking about? Let's rush very quickly to the book of 1 Kings chapter 17. In fact, I've got a news flash for you. I want to tell you this statement standing right in front of you. God does not use sinners' money for his kingdom. In fact, God is not so desperate he would ask sinners to help him to fund his evangelism. Sinners who were not even there when he started his issues with Lucifer way before we were even created. In fact, if God needed our help, he would not deserve to be a God. The English have a saying, he who pays the piper calls the tune. So if we are paying for his kingdom and we are funding evangelism, we need to be worshipped. Question. We'll find an answer to that. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 17 very quickly. 1 Kings 17, 9 to 13. Now you will find that the Lord here, around verse 4, Elijah had declared that there would not be no dew nor rain to the nation of Israel at the time because there were two-sided attacks. They would worship Baal, they would worship God. And he wanted to teach them a lesson and make them choose who was going to be their God and show the world that he was the true God. But now Elijah, when he then ran away and he went, the Lord in verse, I think it's verse 5 or verse 4, speaks about the way, let's have a look at how Elijah was being fed so that we understand who was in need when he then sends him further down. You know the story, but the Lord showed me another side of it that I'm hoping to share with you today. 1 Kings chapter 17, I think if you read it from verse 5. Now listen to this. Okay, I think it's verse 6. Verse 6 says, what man?
And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning,
Right.
and bread and flesh in the evening,
Okay.
and he drank of the brook.
Now listen to me. The guy stays at a brook. He's drinking from there. And what's bringing him food? Ravens. God is providing for his every need. He is not a needy person. The Lord is providing all that he requires. But then God then sends him to a widow. Now, God sends a man of God to a widow, to ask of a widow. Now, I want you to read from verse 9 and hear the conversation that goes on. I want you to hear the specific words that were chosen here. Verse 9, man.
Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there.
Hallelujah.
Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee.
Oh,
So he arose and
just
went
hold
to
on a
Zarephath.
sec. Listen to the conversation. He says, behold, I have commanded a woman in Zarephath to take care of you. The woman doesn't even know she's been commanded to take care of God. I have commanded the children of Dubai South Church to build a church, and they don't even know it. I have commanded Dubai South Church to make sure they return enough to be able to pay for the rent of the place. And they don't even know it. I spoke of a theory last night that I believe in strongly, that if anybody comes asking from you, you must ask yourself, why you? Are you listening to me today? Don't miss out on a blessing. Why would they come to you? Either two things. Number one, either God has already given you their things, or he has a plan to empower you with their things and also bless you in the process. So be careful how you treat those that come to you for help. Unless it's a con man, you best be careful. Ask, why me, Lord? Why has he come to me? So this woman didn't even know it. Because behold, he rose up and went to Zarephath and found a woman there and asked for water. The same water that was asked for in John 4. But this woman didn't have a problem, man. Verse 10.
So he arose and went to Zarephath.
Yes, ma'am.
And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there, gathering up sticks.
Oh.
And he called to her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink.
Yes, ma'am.
And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand.
Ooh.
And she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but an handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse.
Okay.
And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die.
Hold on a second here. Now, 2 women being asked for water here. Are you listening to me today? The first one started giving story, hey, Jews and Gentiles. The second one, the one we have over here. Now, she didn't have a problem with water. She said, straight away, sir. But now the Lord realized that, okay, fine, she doesn't have a problem with water. Let's bless her deeper. You know how the Lord blesses? Let's ask her for more. Okay, you're not listening to me today.
Come on now.
Okay, water, no problem. Water, I've got. Okay, she's graduated that level. Are you listening to me today? Okay, let's see if we can bless her some more. Okay, can you make some bread? And now, unfortunately for her, she was like, say what? Okay, let me give you another example. Lord says, go get me some tithe. A lot of us have no issues with tithe. So we go, and on our way to get tithe, God says, well, why don't you make it 2? Just bring the offering also while you're there. Are you listening to me today? And it depends with how you view the person asking. A lot will then say, excuse me, you're asking for what now? I mean, it was bad enough to return tithe with the way things are. And now you want another tithe, or you want an offering, or beyond another tithe. I don't understand. This is not happening. And that's when she started giving excuses. That's when she looked at her surrounding and she started naming the reasons why she shouldn't bake the bread. And that's when we as Christians begin to list the reasons why we cannot give, not knowing that our existence depends on that moment of giving. Who was in need, Elijah or this woman? Talk to me, church. Who was in need, Elijah or this woman? And yet God comes and asks her as if she has abundance. And because of faithlessness, she looked at her current position. Never look at your current position when God is asking for something. Because then it becomes mathematical and you'll never balance it. And you'll have a very good excuse, because tell you what, this woman truly knew that others had already died. So when she was talking about her last meal and dying, she knew what she was talking about. And she wasn't gathering logs, she was gathering sticks, because she had a little bit to cook. Are you listening to me today? There indeed was nothing left. But I like what Elijah says to her again in verse 13. He says, do not be afraid. The same word that Moses said to the children of Israel when Israel was coming up. He said, do not be afraid. Now I want you to read further from verse 13 and see what exactly the exact words that Elijah uses in this phrase.
And Elijah said unto her,
Yes.
Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth.
Now I want you to see this. I never looked at it this way. Maybe you did, but I didn't, and I loved it when I discovered this. The Lord doesn't say, give me everything you've got and starve to death. Are you listening to me today? In fact, Elijah said to this woman, no. I understand your problem of you and your child, but go and make for me first. Did you hear that part? Elijah said, go make a little cake first for me. The Lord wants to know that he has first place. That's all he's after. In fact, this woman, when she realized what was happening, she went and made for Elijah first. But the interesting thing was, when she then went back thinking she was going to just gather up the little remaining things, she discovered there was enough for her and her child. When she went back again, she discovered there was enough until the drought was over. Right. The question is, who comes first in your life? Money feeds the selfish gene, and only giving destroys it. And if we are selfish and we're thinking it's only me that I need to feed, we will, like this woman, if she hadn't done this, will run dry. We will indeed run dry. Because our situations are real. When we are talking about money not being enough, it's real. How do I know that? I know that we're in Dubai. We're looking for sustenance. We're looking for survival. We're looking for something that is better than what we had back home. So it wasn't enough, and it brought us here, and it is still not enough. It will never be enough. What is enough is having God as your storehouse. Because then you can draw from him, and you'll never run dry like that woman. She got the secret. In fact, when you go back to John chapter 4, you will discover that the issue was never about water. Christ never even really wanted to drink any water. In fact, he never really drank that water after all. Are you listening to me today? He never drank the water. The issue was never about the water. The Lord doesn't use sinners' money in his kingdom. It's never about the money. I'll show you one verse as we end this. The woman eventually just threw away her buckets and ran to the city after the conversation had progressed. But I want you to see what happens in John chapter 4 and verse 32. In fact, read it from verse 31. You will discover there that there was something.
In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. Therefore said the disciples one to another, Hath any man brought him aught to eat? Jesus said unto them, My meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work.
Now listen to what Christ said. They came to him with food. They thought what he wanted was food. Some of them could have been excited. Now we've made Jesus better, you know, we did a good deed. And they brought him some food. And Jesus said, no. No thanks. I don't need your food. I've got food in places that you don't know of. Are you listening to me today? Lord is not looking for money from you. In fact, go to Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Let me conclude this. And this is where the proof comes that God never uses sinners' money. If he did, he would never deserve to be worshipped. God doesn't use your money. He never does, not a cent. Luke chapter 6, verse 38 says, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Are you listening to me today? He says, give, and it shall be given unto you. So whatever you give is given unto you. And when he gives them back unto you, he gives you pressed down, shaken over, and running over, shaken together and running over. So whose money has worked here? Oh, you're not listening to me today. Okay, let me conclude with this story, with this example. You're a driver of a chief executive. You know, drivers sometimes look good, they dress up and they look very professional, and if you're not very careful, you may think they're the owners of the car. So the chief executive says, okay, I'm going into a meeting now, and I know the game park I'm going to closes at 6, and I won't have time to go and fill up my tank and then draw money, and I know it's payday. So what I'm going to do is, here are my keys, you go and put a full tank in my car, bring it back, because I know it's payday, you've got some money. And then in the meantime, the secretary will go and draw some petty cash, and then when we come back, we'll settle each other, right? I need to rush. So please do that for me, right? So the driver gets to the filling station. Back where I come from, we don't put full tanks that often. Are you listening to me? Because things are tough. You know, we put little, give me 5 liters, 10 liters, or $5, yeah? So he gets there and he's looking all good, and he says, fill it up. And so the petrol attendant is saying, whoa, okay, fill it up. You must be doing well. And he says, oh, you need to be streetwise. You gotta be smart. You gotta be sharp. You know what I mean? Because things happen when you're sharp. You gotta know what's happening. Yeah, look at the stock markets and, make it happen. So after the full tank is put in there and the driver's going, so he said, Pippi, streetwise young man, yeah? So he drives away and he gets to the chief executive. The chief executive gives him back his money and he says, thanks, here's your $100 for, well, he takes $100 back where we come from to fill up a tank. And then he says, but here's $10 for using your own money. Now, who filled up the tank? Who financed the tank filling?
The CEO.
Who? The chief executive. Are you listening to me today? Your name may be Francis, and you may say, I'm going to pay for the rent for this month. And you may be Zwelise, and you may say, I'm going to build this side of the church. And people will say, amen, I'm going to donate that. I'm going to do that. These are nothing but drivers whose money is coming back anyway. And that's why we should never glory in our donations. Are you listening to me today? You're a driver. You're going to get your money back. Stop fooling us. And so the Bible in Proverbs chapter 11, verse 24 and 25 says, there is he that scatters. Oh yeah? But it increases. Are you listening to me? But there is he who withholds that which he's supposed to give, but it brings him to poverty. He that waters others will be watered also. The Bible says. In fact, if only we knew, we are responsible for our own poverty at times. Are you listening to me today? Because the liberal hand increases. So why are we not increasing sometimes? Now you tell me, this is a Bible principle. Even if a heathen does it, if a heathen gives, he also receives. It's a principle. It's embedded in the promise. When God speaks, it happens. And so when God seems like he's asking for tithes and offerings, and it seems like a marvel task and it's too much to bear, it's because we're thinking it's coming out of our pocket. And so the answer to the question why is that all it is, my brothers and sisters, is a character building exercise. God is not begging for money. He doesn't need our money. It's like a mother holding a pack of chips and she gives it to her child. And the child is feeding from the pack and is running around and is happy. And then mother comes and asks for a chip from that packet. Is she hungry? No, she just wants to teach the child to be giving, to be liberal. It's character building. And that's why tithing and offering is child's play. It's character building. Do not resist for your character to be built, because you're thinking of the financial implications. Think of the spiritual implications. I want to pray with somebody today. Anybody who says, Lord, I understand the reason why. And I want to take this leap of faith, like that woman of Zarephath, who had her last meal. Sometimes we say, I'm down to my last dollar. Those who are clever will know that you don't consume your last dollar, you invest it. How about investing it in the Lord? And building your character in the process. There are some who are hardening their hearts. I wasn't told this, but I looked at your bulletin and I saw a promotion for the rental. It's sad that all these fine-looking brothers and sisters, we're fine-looking, but we're not able to pay for rent. I wasn't told. There's no conspiracy. Nobody spoke to me. But I saw it. And that's when I realized that the Lord brought me here for a purpose. He wanted to speak to somebody, including myself. So if there's somebody like me who wants to say, oh, to Jesus I surrender, who wants to say, take the world but give me Jesus, Lord, build my character, whatever it takes, I want you to stand up and we have a word of prayer. If you are serious and you want to get involved in this process of character building called tithing and offering, systematic benevolence, we'll talk about it in the afternoon. Those who have questions, come up. Let's talk about it. It's understanding, so that when it's said, when we understand and we apply, then the blessing of the Lord comes upon us. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Father in heaven, we are amazed by the love you have for us. Lord, if you didn't love us, you would have left us in the dungeons of darkness, of lack of knowledge. You say in Hosea, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, for they are rejecting my knowledge. But Lord, today you have come out and you have spoken to us.